several places. It's been fun. We went to France together.
France.
Right. And then Dad knew Bertina from the church back there in New York as well. I myself was born and raised in Hawaii, and then moved to Guam for a number of years. And actually, when I was in Guam in junior high school, it was the first time I visited Taiwan. I came here in the mid-70s. My father used to do work here. He's an electrical engineer, and so he actually helped with the Grand Hotel, because his partner did the air conditioning and the plumbing for the hotel, and he did some of the electrical work, design work. So yeah, so that was my first trip to Taiwan, way back in the 70s when I was a smaller kid.
That's the only five-star hotel back then.
What's that?
Grand Hotel was the only five-star hotel back then.
Yeah, it was like the only thing, right? Yeah, so that was ways back. 2009, I was here, only for a couple days because they had actually, we had a problem in our church in Guam, a big crisis. And so I was coming with the team, with Bertina, to come and help here. But just before I left to come here, some of the leaders, every nation said, we need you in Guam. So can you come to Taiwan to Guam? So I came in here, spent 2 days, went to Guam, and then came back the last day before they got on the flight to go back to New York. So that's my history with Taiwan. I came here and then I had to go other places because there were problems. Churches have problems. People have problems. And that was great though, because I had a 9-hour layover in Manila on my way to Guam. And so I thought I would sit at the airport and wait. And then I happened to be on the flight with a pastor from the Philippines. And he said, what are you doing on the plane? I said, I'm going to Guam. I'm going to be sitting here at the airport. He said, just come with me to the office. So I went to the office, met my future wife there. Spent a few hours talking with her. It was awesome. Best layover ever. Praise God. That's right. I was slow to marriage. I got married when I was just shy of 50. I was 49 and 11 months and 20-something days. So, and then I got married. I just made it just inside 50. And so we've been married for 7 years now. 6 years. Best 6 years of my life. And it's awesome because I get to travel the world with my favorite ex-girlfriend all over. That's always fun. It's still my life. Anyway, yeah. So I want to actually get to know you a little bit before we jump into it. So would you just give me your name and what you do here in the church? And if you want anything else if you want to share where you're from, that's fine as well. So why don't we just go around and do that just for my benefit? Is that all right?
Yes.
All right. So let's just start here in the second row. I know Pastor Hope and Casey. So let's start here in the second row. Yeah, sure.
Hi, I'm Belle. I'm from the Philippines.
Hey.
So my wife from the Philippines too.
So I go to one of every nation's churches in the Philippines, Victory.
Okay. Which one?
Malate.
Malate. Okay. And what are you doing here?
I'm studying here for a year at Shinta.
Okay. And what do you do with the church?
So I've been here for, this is my 3rd month, and I
So you're a
just
pastor.
joined the music.
Okay. You help with the music. Okay. Great.
Hi, Ariel. I'm from the Philippines, but I go to university in Boston. But I'm here on the study abroad kind of team. And I help out with the usher and the PowerPoint team at church.
Awesome. Great. Okay.
College, my eldest daughter.
Anyone else at this time want to go to college? Yeah.
Oh, I'm at college. Help out in college ministry.
Do so many things. It's hard to remember all of them. That's great. Okay.
My name is Erika, and I'm local.
Great.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And
Yeah.
what else?
What do you do at the church?
I'm just a member here, and actually I'm with Romano and Kevin. We are part of the financial committee.
Okay. Well, that's not nothing. It helps.
Actually, nothing. It's just
Yeah. No, that's great. Excellent.
I'm Katie. I'm from Tennessee.
and I help along with the college's history.
Okay, that's great.
My name is Brandon. I'm also from Tennessee, and I'm a member here.
Awesome. That's good. Member is good. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm Kat, and I'm from Hawaii, and I'm also a member here.
And what? Yes.
I help with the kids church and also with the worship.
I know Kevin and Jolly. That's okay. Okay. Go ahead, Romel. Yeah.
And Romel, I'm one of the elders here. I help in PowerPoint, sound, sometimes ushering, and I lead a small group of men.
Awesome. Great.
I'm Elijah from here, and I play guitar and I get to
Okay. Awesome.
I'm Sam. I'm Howard.
Okay.
My name is James, and
Excuse me, could you say your name again?
I'm
Bethany. Okay.
and I'm a treatment for
Awesome.
I'm Clay from Arkansas and South Carolina, and my family and I, we help out with worship and teaching some, and just really whatever we need help with.
Awesome. That's great.
I'm Lisa, and I'm from South Africa, and I'm a worship team.
Awesome. Okay. Help out with the worship team. Lead the worship team. I love everybody's so humble. And everybody is, it seems like over half of you do more than one thing in the church, which is fantastic. Everybody wears multiple hats in the church. Well, it's exciting to be here with you guys. We just came from the churches in Japan. I originally was pastoring in Hawaii, started there back in when did I start? 91 is when I came on staff in a pastoral role. Before I did some missionary work. Before that, in the 80s, I did some missionary work in Hong Kong. And then I'm Chinese, but I don't speak Chinese. So doing mission work in Hong Kong was exciting and challenging because everybody just thought I was mentally challenged. Because this Chinese guy, he can't speak Chinese. I'm actually fourth generation. My great-grandparents came from China to America. And along the way, my parents' generation, my grandparents decided that their kids would do better in America if they just spoke English. And so they would force them to only speak English at home. And so we were the recipients of that. When we grew up, we didn't speak Chinese. My brothers went to Chinese school. My grandfather sponsored them to go, but then they would come home and all they learned was swear words. And so my grandfather said, no more. I'm not paying good money to send you to Chinese school to learn Chinese swear words. So that's my two older brothers, and they spoiled it for the rest of us. So I never got to go to Chinese school. I did go when I was in Hong Kong for a few months, and just was not good at picking up the language. So in any case, that's not my gift. I learned that languages are not my gift. I always got C's in college for language because I would get A's. And then in language, I would get C's. I got a B one time in Spanish. My Spanish teacher said, well, you got a C, but because I know your parents and I know your brothers, and your parents would not be happy you got a C, let me give you a B. Which is very nice of her. But yeah, so Spanish and French, and in high school and college, and just never did well. We all have our strengths and our gifts and our weaknesses. Today what I want to share with you a little bit is not strengths, not weaknesses, but I want to talk about problems in the church. Because that's what we like to talk about, right? Builds faith, it gets us all excited to talk about problems in the church. And so actually I was going to preach this on Sunday about problems in the church. Pastor Hope said, that might not be the most faith-building thing for guests come to church, they'd not be excited. Really, we felt like it would be good to share with you guys, because we're talking about problems in the church. So why not talk to the leaders about problems in the church? Since all of us are leaders in the church, we know we got problems, right? You're a leader in the church, you know you got problems. Mostly because we as leaders, we even bring our own problems to the church. So why don't we do that? Why don't we jump into the the notes printed up already? So that's great. We have the handouts already ready for Sunday. We can go back and change them. So that's good.
We can still reprint.
Yeah, we can still, yeah. But that's good, because now you have something. So if you want to, and are we doing PowerPoint?
Yes.
What do we have on the PowerPoint? You want to show,
You have your pictures and also.
do you want to show me pictures twice? You guys want to see the pictures that we're going to show the church tomorrow?
Yes.
We're going to show you ahead of time? This is like, you know, when missionaries come and guest speakers, they always have pictures of, you know, their family. And I brought my wife, so I don't have to show you a picture. But this is the church. This is the congregation that Terry and I lead. We have in Manhattan. We have 3 congregations. We have the east side, the west side, and then the nighttime service in 3 different locations. She and I lead the nighttime service. We're turning it over. We're in the process of turning it over to another young pastor. I had. 3 years ago, I had turned it over. I trained up another young pastor, turned it over to him. Maybe longer than that, maybe even 5 years ago, I turned it over to him. And then he had some moral problems that surfaced. And so we had to step him down. So I had to jump back in, talk about problems in the church. Those are the problems that we have. And so she and I have been leading that church again, just kind of got it going. And now we're turning it over to another young guy. We've been married 6 years, don't have any kids. And so, but these are our kids. These are our children. That's Terry's worship team. We're called Every Nation New York City. As you can see, there's people from every nation in the worship team. It was very, very culturally mixed church. The next picture, this is our inner healing and deliverance team that ministers in those areas, ministers healing. And then we have several congregations that we help to oversee. One is, this is a Russian language congregation. And so I oversee that. I go there once a month and speak to their leadership team and preach for them. I'm like the Chinese guy going to the Russian church. You know, everyone else speaks Russian or Hebrew because they're mostly Jewish there. This is a baptism, so all the people in Hawaii are getting baptized there in this Coney Island. Let's go back to the other picture. One back. Yeah, that one. There you go. This church, this family here is actually, they're from Uzbekistan, and they're Muslim. And so the pastor's wife there, actually she's really, the woman is really the pastor there. She leads the congregation. She was out witnessing, sharing God with people in the park. And she saw this woman sitting in the park and looked kind of down. So she went over, shared Christ with her. This Muslim woman accepted Jesus and then was talking about how she was going to have an abortion the next day because her baby was deformed, had no brain function, all these different problems with her baby. And so the doctor said advised her to have an abortion because they said if you go through with the birthing, number one, the child probably won't survive, and it'll be also a danger to your health. So it could be lead to a lot of complications for her. So the pastor there, she laid hands on her, prayed for her, and prayed healing over her. The next day when she went to the doctors, they told her, oh, we made a mistake, your baby's totally fine. She had the baby, miracle baby, and her family, they all got saved. And then recently, one of the relatives back in Uzbekistan had a terminal illness. And so they prayed with her over the phone. The relative got healed. And they're all Muslim, they're in Uzbekistan, but after she got healed, she said, it was our cousin in America, their prayers what healed me. And so then they got saved, and they're doing a Bible study over Skype now, which is always exciting, yay for technology. And so that's one congregation that I oversee, and then there's also this is baptism of some of our Spanish congregation, where we have a Spanish language congregation that I also oversee. And so they're growing, and praise God for them. And then now we're starting a new congregation in Arabic to reach Muslims in New York City because there's a big Muslim community there that speaks Arabic. And so this is kind of a planning team. We're just gathering people to see who has an interest and see what God will do there. So I think God has a sense of humor that I'm truly American, can only speak one language and that not so well. All of a sudden I'm overseeing all these other congregations and trying to help them get started in Spanish and Russian and Arabic, none of which I speak. And so praise God that He helps us in our weakness. Amen.
Yes, good.
And so that's me. I often get called to do things that I'm really not equipped for. Praise God. Like being a missionary in Hong Kong, but I don't speak Chinese for 2 years. Now, this is isn't that beautiful. This is a little town in Lehigh Valley. It's another place where we're starting another church in Lehigh Valley. One of the members of our church started a business there, and then just started to reach out to his friends. And no, this is in Pennsylvania, actually. Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania. It's maybe a 3 or 4 hour drive away. And they, this businessman, one day he called and said, "Hey, you know, I've got about 20 people, you know, that I've gathered together in a Bible study. Can we start a church? If I I'll rent a room, and then you guys just send someone to preach." And so twice a month now, we send someone to go down there and preach, and he just gathers people. He's renting a room in a hotel, and it's a church starting. I always told Pastor Adam, the pastor who's going there, I said, I think it's just because you love how beautiful that city is. It's actually, it was voted one of the most beautiful cities in America, towns in America, and especially in the fall when the colors change. And so we love the fall colors. The thing we don't like is what happens after the fall colors. Because after the fall colors, then the leaves fall. And then someone has to clean up all those leaves. And so, you know, here's the thing about God and about the ways that He works, is that oftentimes things look beautiful, but even in things that look beautiful, a mess comes along with it. And that's just part of the cycle of life, that messes happen in life, but it's how we respond to those messes that determines our growth. And so today we're going to be looking at how messes happen, even in churches, and how we, because as a leadership team, when messes happen, it's really on us. How we respond that determines the growth and the health of a church.